Yo, 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 what's up, Junkies? Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro, and I got my boys, Fallen Marvel, Super Nerd Plus, and the Great Dadakuji with me. What's up, guys?
Doing very good. Hey, everybody out there in Junkie Land.
Right. Well, Super Nerd Plus is still kind of setting up, so he'll be here in a few minutes. But today we're going to be talking about the rise of Kevin Feige as the new lord and master of all things creative in the Marvel universe. So we're talking comics, TV, movies. He's got all the reins. What does this mean moving forward? Also, we're going to talk about, Halloween is next week, so we're going to kind of start the talk off by debating what probably might be the most interesting haunted house that exists out there today. Also, we had a couple of other trailers that we kind of wanted to get to, kind of get your takes on the Bloodshot trailer and the Star Wars trailer. But we're glad that you could join us. How was your weekend, gentlemen?
I think it was pretty good. Pretty goddamn good.
Very busy. Still haven't gotten anything done yet, but very busy. But
wait a minute. What do you mean by that?
Okay.
What do you mean by that? You very busy. You haven't got none done it.
I'm trying to get my my little section situated so I can start my game streaming back up again. And I had to do a lot of trial and error, and I'm still working out a lot of errors right now. But I hope to get up soon, so to speak. So yeah,
that's cool. Because I've been planning to do the exact same thing. I was having a chat with my friend, and I want to do streaming. As you guys know, I have a lot of games I haven't played, and I got this wall of stuff. And he's basically when you start having the audience out there, they pick what games you want to stream. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. I'd love to do something like that.
Of course.
Right. So you know what though? Good thing you brought that up, because this weekend we have our monthly gaming fight night at our new headquarters at the in Southfield. So we'll put the invite in the chat. If you guys live in the Detroit, Michigan area, we'd love to see you stop by. It's only $5 to get in. There will be pizza. There will be pop provided. Until we run out, obviously, and then maybe we'll probably hit you up and pony up and we'll get some more. I don't know. We'll see. Will there be drinks involved? Will there be alcohol there?
No.
Alcohol allowed? No alcohol allowed. No bring your own beverages. What are we gonna do if someone tries to bring in a White Claw or something else with some kind of alcoholic content? We gonna kick them out? Who's playing bouncer?
As right now, we don't have much of a bouncer, but I don't see too much of that happening. So,
you sure?
No, I'm not sure. Not sure at all. You never know, but we'll see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well, someone must take the bouncer role there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's got to. But who's gonna do it? I mean, is it gonna
Someone has to come along and volunteer as the bouncer.
Reminding us of the whole of the old Square Enix game. Jesus, no.
Some of us remember it more fondly than others.
Yo, man, that game was terrible, bro. That game was so bad, man. Like, I wanted it to be so good, but as some kids they swear by it just because they were excited by the pretty graphics and the shiny graphics. It looked just like Final Fantasy's cinematic. Nah, man, that game was not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, another man's trash.
Right. You know what?
I didn't think that game was that bad. Just because, I didn't play it when the PlayStation first came out. In fact, I think I just bought it recently. When I say recently, within the last 5 years, for it was like $5 or something, and the controls are spot on. It was definitely not done as beat 'em ups as how we probably grew up doing beat 'em ups, because it wasn't two players and it was very story driven. But I would say it sucked, because in order for me to say something sucked, it has to have crappy controls, and I have to feel like it's a waste of my time playing it. And it is something that you probably would play through once and be like, okay, why'd I spend this money on it? Because it may not be worth $60 or the $50 it was back, year 2000. But for a $5 game and just straight playing through a story mode, I mean, it's not that bad. They could have done a lot better. I agree, because I think a lot of stuff like that was when Tobal, if I remember correctly, their dungeon mode or whatever. I think it was kind of like a precursor
Quest
to
mode.
Quest mode.
Wait a minute. No, you're talking about Tobal number 1, right?
Yeah, and Tobal 2, even though they're not.
Tobal 2's quest mode was kind of sweet. I like that. It was difficult to get into. Yeah. Probably because it was all in Japanese. That might have had something to do with it. But even though it was all in Japanese, let me tell you, man. Even though that game was all in Japanese, we did our damnedest to try and play it. Cause
I'm gonna tell you, I have a translated one. And that's a game we could go back and play streaming if you like, because they came out with I have the Japanese version of it, but if you rip it, and you put the English patch onto it, you can play it in English.
Bro, yeah, I want to play that because I love Tobal 2 so much. I thought Tobal 2 was a fantastic game. I would love for them to do a Tobal 3, but there's very little hope of that ever happening.
I don't think it's happening ever.
Yeah, there's very little hope of that happening. How many characters were in Tobal number 2? Shoot,
over 200.
Yeah, man, it was a lot.
You had to capture them, though. You had to
shit.
Them up.
You had to capture them all in quest mode.
Yeah, you go to quest mode, you basically capture them like fucking Pokemon. You had to beat them down to a small amount of energy and throw a crystal at them, and it would fucking capture them. And some of them weren't worth, because there's like some robots in there. Like imagine some of the robots you would see in like Final Fantasy VII. It's like dumb bipedal robots and stuff, but they were actually playable characters, and some were like blobs. And I don't know if they're chocobos or birds that look like chocobos.
No, there was a chocobo in there because it was owned by Square. They had a chocobo in there.
Yeah, I mean, during that time, they always found a way to fit some type of Final Fantasy Easter egg in their other games.
Mm-hmm.
It was either a chocobo or a mog or a cactuar.
But yeah, that's a game that I would love to sit down once GQ and I get this freaking just playing through games rolling. Just sit down and
do me a favor. Would you share the link to the event in the chat? That way, those of us or those of them out there that haven't seen the invite to the fight night, which we're gonna have this Saturday, can actually know when it is, where it's going to be, all that kind of stuff.
I don't know if that's going to work. I did something that's very long, but if you
oh my god, man, really? Come on,
it brings it up.
Man, look at that text vomit that's right there in the chat. There, there's no one that's going to be able. There's no one going to be able to read that. Come on,
you can make link shorter.
Use Bitly or something like that.
That's what I'm doing. Here you go. Yeah. Shorten your link. Paste, shorten, got a link for you, copy, and everybody in there who can't do all that stuff, paste. Short link, there you go.
Oh, look at that. There we go. Yeah,
straight up
that's
bananas.
Better. That's much more manageable. Much more manageable. Appreciate it. We appreciate all of you out there that when we hope to see you on Saturday. Remember, it's $5 to get in. It's going to be a lot of games, a lot of setups, a lot of fighting games, probably some non-fighting games too, right?
Yeah, probably. I was requested to bring a Sega Saturn, so I'm gonna see.
So we're gonna do old school X-Men versus Street Fighter?
We definitely could. I have access to a old CRT TV, which I'm gonna try to bring, and my only thing is like, do we hook it up composite or we try to? I can't do component on that, can I? No, it's gonna have to be composite.
Didn't you get one of those HD converters for the Saturn?
I think I have. No, see, the thing is, when it comes to those retro systems, there are things that you can plug in composite and it upscales. They're called upscalers. I don't have a expensive upscaler because they're like $350 up. They have a OSSC, which is, I forget what the letters stand for, which is a little bit cheaper. And then I've seen another one that's about $150. But my thing is that I'm not one of those sticklers for pixel perfect stuff. If I can play the game and it looks great, I'm fine. I don't have to be like, oh my gosh, it has to be by the 4:3 ratio. It has to be running at 240p. It can't be any shimmering in the background whatsoever.
No flickering, sir. No flickering.
I want to play the game because we played NES on CRTs, and that shit looked horrible. And we still played it, and we loved it. So
of course we did. We have no choice. Of course we did.
Of course we did. So like but whenever this gosh darn system that was supposed to come out in April, the goddamn Polymega, it finally farting comes out, that's gonna be able to play Saturn games HDMI, and they're gonna upscale it to make it look nice. Then I'm not gonna have that need to have my Sega Saturn out, because the CR 2032 I'm pretty sure is dead. And I lost all my memory, my saves again. A good thing I have a backup now, but the only backup I think would have been was Rayman, because that was the only game I've been playing recently. But yeah, if GQ can bring his Saturn, it's probably easier for him to disconnect. I don't even think his is hooked up, because he keeps all his old stuff, but I think he only keeps the current stuff hooked up. But we'll see.
Okay. Right. So because last month, I got to play. I was playing Intelligent Cube for PS1, and I ain't played that game in years. Oh, that was a great game. I love that game. It was such a great game.
Dude, you such a great game. Bought it at the Comic-Con this year. Well, actually, it was a Japanese version of it, but the guy was selling it for like $20. That's why I bought the Japanese. It's literally the exact same as the US one. Everything's in English. They didn't change anything, except for you can't play it on a US PS whatever.
Oh, of course, because they hadn't changed the region by then.
Yeah.
Of course. But yeah, good times. Maybe I'll even bring the Tesseract out, and we can hook up like the arcade MAME or whatever. Because I got what do I have on there that we might not have anywhere else? I have to think about it.
Miles has it on his more than likely on that PlayStation. What do you call it?
Yeah. He probably has on his PlayStation Mini. That's right. Yeah. So anyway, y'all. So let's get to some of the topics. Well, let's real briefly. Let's get into the trailers that kind of came out this week. So yesterday, the Star Wars trailer dropped. But then a couple of days or before that, on Monday, the Bloodshot trailer dropped out. So I'm gonna hold off on Bloodshot, because Super Nerd Plus is a big Bloodshot fan. Like, he reads those comic books. I forget which comic company puts out Bloodshot, but he's a big fan of those.
Valiant.
Valiant. Yeah, Valiant. He loves Valiant comics. So I'll wait for him to talk about that. Let's talk about the Star Wars trailer now. I know, Dido, you aren't watching it on purpose.
I that theater with fresh eyeballs. Like,
I couldn't help it.
Most people
had
can't
to watch that trailer.
They're very weak-willed, and if you put a piece of chocolate cake in front of them, they start salivating, and they just smash it in their face. So they can't say, you know what? I can wait for this cake. I can wait.
Careful with that. Careful with that weak-minded stuff, bro.
Hey, you had to watch it.
As a player. I'm a fan. Weak-minded. I don't want to hear that nonsense. No, man. I can still watch the trailer.
You just jump right into it. Push your kids over, knock them over. Like, get out of the way. I got to see Star Wars.
No, I ain't do that. Because it dropped at work, so I watched it at work. So me and all my coworkers were getting all super excited about seeing a Star Wars trailer. And I have to admit, as a final trailer, it pulls at your heartstrings a little bit. Teases the end of the saga. You see maybe some wistful goodbyes. You see some old friends like Chewie and Lando and Leia. You see Kylo Ren. You see Rey. You see Finn. You see Rose. You see them all. Then you see kind of like everything else, kind of a little bit fill in the blanks a little bit. We still don't totally know what's going on. I think the trailer did a really good job in not telling you all of the story beats. But I felt like I just felt like the trailer was really well done. Like Johnny P put over there on YouTube. He's like, trailers promote. This is marketing. I mean, it was good.
I agree, but trailers also tell too much, and I have a problem with trailers. And when we get to talk about Bloodshot, I'll tell you why. Why I say stuff like that. And and you're aware of this. You've seen it many times. And they're doing it again.
Batman vs Superman comes to mind. Batman v Superman comes to mind. Yes, it does.
Honestly, a little bit of that Terminator Dark Fate trailer kind of gave some stuff
like,
too, which
I didn't feel that way about that trailer, but even though it comes out this weekend, but I still didn't feel that way about that trailer. Well, okay, so explain why I'm gonna
explain without talking about Bloodshot trailer, but if you go back into the 90s, 80s, even the 70s, whenever a trailer comes out, and if it's an action movie, they show a lot of the action out of context. They just show this. They show a line. They show another line. Those lines have nothing to do with what they said or what was going on. You'd be like, oh, this movie looks cool. Action packed, blue, boom, boom. All right? Trailers nowadays try to tell a story. And unfortunately, that story is part of the movie. And then you see the trailer and it just lays out what's going on in the movie, what's happening, the plot of what's going on, the whole entire struggle that the person is having. And it's like, granted, it's only 2-3 minutes. It's not telling the whole entire movie, but it's like you guys told too much of the movie. All you got to do is cut it up, man. Cut it up and just show things. So, yes, trailers promote. It is marketing, but they're showing too much. And they've done that quite often. That was one of the reasons that I didn't watch the Star Wars trailer. Even though you say they didn't show a lot, it was probably just, showing you this, and making you feel like, oh, yeah, I want to go see this movie. That's cool and dandy. But I truly, for certain movies, I just want to sit in the theater and not know anything. Because, again, a lot of these people who cut these trailers don't know how to stop and not put things that shouldn't be in there. It's just like, we shouldn't even known that wasn't even in the movie. And I wish right now GQ was on where he can, because it was a trailer that came out this year. It's like, we shouldn't even known that was in a movie. And when we talk about that, I'll tell you for what I'm talking about with that specific movie, what they did. So,
yeah.
All right. I mean, Super Nerd Plus is on. We weren't necessarily. We weren't even. we weren't gonna really talk about Bloodshot just yet because we were still gonna be talking a little bit more about the Star Wars trailer.
Go ahead, talk about Star Wars, man.
Yeah, so I want to hear what everybody out there in Junkie Nation thought about the trailer. Does it make everybody knows a lot about the controversy surrounding The Last Jedi. I personally feel a lot of it is overblown because people were upset that it didn't go the way they wanted it to go. And part of me almost felt that way too at the beginning, but then I just kind of sat back and enjoyed it for what it was. But did this make you more excited or less excited to go see the movie? Everybody out there and all of us on the panel. So, Fallen Marvel, what did you think of the trailer? Did it make you more or less excited to see it?
I'm on the same boat with Dido. I stayed away from the trailer.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I saw like a little bit, just a short snippet of it, but honestly, the previous trailer that they came out, that was enough for me. Like once they kind of did the whole thing, and then they sort of showed Sith Rey or whatever, and I'm just like, oh wow, okay. Like I'm kind of interested to see where they go with this story, which, she's probably gonna have to go through like the real like Jedi trials or some shit. So like that's more than likely what that is. But I'm still interested to see where it goes. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. I didn't need to see this last trailer to know that I'm gonna be going to see it. So I just kind of stayed away from it. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, okay, I've got enough. I've had enough. I don't, it's just one of those things you don't need to dessert. Like you don't need to dessert. Like you've already had like a full plate. Just
wait, it's almost like y'all would rather them just say, hey, we're going to put out just a title card with the date. Tickets are on sale. Go get them. Like, hey, come on, man.
Hey, they could have did that when Endgame came out, and they technically did because they really showed like nothing in the trailers. So,
well, sure, but I mean,
but if that's all they wanted to do, like leading up to like that last trailer, like it was just title card April 26th. It was like, okay, I'm there. Like that's that's all they need at this point. It's like folks are gonna see it. Folks are gonna see it regardless of how much they have sticks up their butts. They're gonna go see it. It's just as simple as that. But I don't know. It's like for something like it's it's like I'm very cautious when it comes to the trailers, especially this year, because I do feel like there have been trailers that's been giving quite a bit away. Now Disney's usually better about that. Disney's usually better about that. So, but it's just like, again, I don't have to be more convinced than I already am. So it's like, I'm a patient man. I can wait for the full product to come out.
Okay, I mean, fair. I mean, we only got about a little under 2 months away. Yeah, 2 months away. I mean, because this comes out December 20th. It is now October 23rd. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate that.
Hey.
So yeah, I think the Star Wars trailer was really well done. It got me even more excited to see it. But then again, they already had my money anyway, and I promptly bought my ticket because those opening night tickets are selling out fast. It already broke it was the second place behind Endgame for Atom tickets for first day sales or something like that. It was just
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Everybody's buying it. Super Nerd, did you see it? And are you excited to go see the Star Wars film or not?
No, I mean, I'm a casual Star Wars lover.
That's fine.
I'm not I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not because you guys know ins and outs of Star Wars, which I may not know a lot about, but I still enjoy the mythos and the movies itself. Now, granted, I did not see the last two movies, which was Solo and The Last Jedi. I know people say they didn't like those movies, but from my perspective, because I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan, if I was to watch it, I probably would enjoy it because, to me, that's
Wow! I didn't think I'd ever run into anyone that is even a casual Star Wars fan that has not seen The Last Jedi yet. That's amazing. How did you manage to do that? Really? The movie has been everywhere by now. Right. How did you manage to do that?
Work, life.
Okay, reasonable.
Because certain movies, I know it's a 2 hour plus movie, and you got to be in a certain mindset to sit down in your house. Because I watch something on my home, whatever, and then okay, I don't like it. I'll turn to something else real quick, or look on my phone or something. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta grab my interest while I'm sitting home. If I'm at the movies, I'm all in for it because I'm sitting at a movie with a bunch of people that I know. When you're at home, you got other distractions. So sometimes I don't pay attention, even when I watch Titans or whatever. Because I am excited about Titans, because I watch before I go to work, because I know I got a limited time to watch before I go to work. So I can enjoy it because I ain't got no distraction, because I know I got this much time, because I know it's that length of a time, bam, and I can go about my day. But if I'm at home and when I'm off work or something, right now, as we done with the show, I might watch a movie for 10, 20 minutes. Okay, I'm not go to YouTube and find something, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I have not watched Last Jedi or Solo, which... for me, what you guys say or the other fans say that they were subpar movies,
Yeah. Okay.
I like Solo.
I like Solo a lot.
I liked it a lot too. All those freaking people out there, we did a hard Solo movie. I was like, man, you would have ate that shit up. This movie came out exactly how it was back in the 90s.
Okay,
Here's the even when the last movie came out, not Solo or Last Jedi. What was the one?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. Now, granted, it felt like New Hope all over again. Yeah. Yes. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? And even my favorite one, which was what was the one?
You better not.
What?
You better not say anything. You bet. What? The one after that.
Yeah.
After what? A New Hope?
No, not New Hope. But
Rogue One. Rogue One was your favorite?
Yeah, Rogue One. Yeah, I like Rogue
One.
Rogue One.
Rogue One was your favorite? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I like seeing
even more than Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, Empire Strikes Back is that deal. But what I'm saying is,
all right, go ahead.
Being something that's not part of the lineage that's with the same characters. It was different characters that got shown here, and that's what I liked about it. Yeah.
Okay, and that brings up a good point, because actually I kind of want to almost segue into this, because you bring up a point about Rogue One. You were more excited about it because it wasn't the same characters that we've seen for 30, 40 years. This is the end of the saga. Are you nervous for where Star Wars is gonna go after the Skywalker saga ends?
But here's the thing: don't they got from Dark Horse, those books and all those other books?
They're not gonna adapt.
I know, but I'm saying if they wanted to, they could. That's another cash cow they can get, because a lot of people who aren't hardcore fans don't know about the books, and that's more money they could bring and reinvent Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? So they can go that route if they want to.
So you're not worried. You're not worried. Okay.
Because it's one of the biggest things next to the Marvel. So that's going to be a long cash cow. And like I said, if they wanted to, they can take those stories from those books and then put it out there and make a whole. And then you got Disney Plus coming out, so they got The Mandalorian coming out.
And The Mandalorian does look fantastic. You are absolutely right.
And I'm saying I'm gonna watch that one because it's not about the core characters. I mean, it's about the core character, but not.
Okay, so you bring up a very good point. Much like a lot of people make a lot of bones about Phase 4, the end of Phase 4. The end of Phase 3, moving into Phase 4, and how Marvel has kind of almost reset the deck. A lot of people are saying, it's going to fall off because Iron Man's dead and Captain America's gone, and Thor isn't going to be as important, and it's going to be Captain Marvel and all these other characters that people aren't very high on. A lot of people are bullish about the possible future for the Marvel Universe. It could be said the same could be for the Star Wars universe too. So Dido and Fallen Marvel, do you have those same fears or apprehensions about where Star Wars could go?
No. Because Knights of the Old Republic, you hear about that, and people love the video game. The only thing would be is if those video game nut jobs is not, exactly like how it is in a video game, then you're going to have problems. They're going to have to friggin' stretch that stuff out, or not even go to video game, but still be in that world. So they got a lot of lore to go from, and I just enjoy watching the movies, man. It's not my story to tell, but it's my story to enjoy, and that's basically what I try to do.
I love that. I love that saying. That's very good. That's not my story to tell, it's my story to enjoy. I like that. A lot of fanboys out there that get nerd rage about, stories not going the way that they want to. They should kind of adopt that philosophy. I like that a lot.
I wish they would.
I wish they would too.
It's so much easier and nicer. It's like either enjoy it or don't enjoy it, but don't say it should be like this and should be like this. No, it shouldn't, because you didn't write it.
Right. So much aggression out there. It's almost like we should do a whole show about that. Like, why is there so much aggression about that? Anyway,
I don't know.
Let's move on to the Bloodshot trailer, because the Bloodshot trailer came out a couple of days ago, and I wanted to wait for you to get on the show because I know you're such a huge Valiant and Bloodshot fan. So, what was your impressions as a Bloodshot fan of this film when you were watching it?
It felt like a Fast and the Furious 2.0. And that's cause when I saw it, it's like I don't know how I feel about it, because it looks so generic. Like, we've seen this movie before. We've seen all these cool attributes before. Because remember that one movie that came out, the Upgrade movie. What was it called?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Same concept, basically, in a sense, right? It doesn't have no feeling to it. It doesn't have no soul, really. So, and the fact they had Jason David Frank originally play the character.
Bloodshot?
He did a good job because, number one, he's a martial artist. We all know that. And
wait a minute. What, was there some kind of short as him as Bloodshot?
Well, yeah, the Ninjak versus the Universe. It came on YouTube. It was like a 6-part, 5-part. Yeah. Jason David Frank.
I forgot about that. I never did see
that. No, I didn't see that.
And it had the whole Valiant universe.
But wait, wasn't my man that played? We interviewed him at Comic-Con a few years back.
He played Deadshot on.
The guy that played Deadshot on. Yeah, no, he played Deadshot on Arrow.
Arrow. So he played.
Yeah, he was
Ninjak in this.
And so he played Ninja K on there.
Correct.
But Jason David Frank was Bloodshot.
Correct.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And and then because the whole thing was, I remember Jason David Frank was like, he would love to do the movie, but obviously they wanted Vin Diesel to do it, and they switched up the whole thing. That's because Valiant had that deal where they was going to do a bunch of movies, and they needed a backing, so they got Sony, because I guess Sony picked them up for it because they had this whole thing they were going to do. So they did Ninja K, because Bat in the Sun did the Ninja K versus the Universe.
Mm-hmm.
That was all Bat in the Sun. They just want to put it out there to see if people will like it, which it was really good. Obviously, you know how Bat in the Sun is with their stuff they do. You know, some of the acting wasn't that great, but the action was good. But you know, they wanted to go bigger than that. So my thing also, this is their first feature film with Valiant. So you got to blow people out the water. You can't be generic with that. And Bloodshot is an intricate character. And like I said, it felt like any of those movies that came out in the 90s that had like a soldier of fortune with no memory and yada, yada, yada. It's got to be something different. You got to go left field with that. And I believe it's going to do some numbers. It may not do some big numbers. I'll be shocked if it does, but I don't think it's going to do the numbers for a setup in the whole universe because it's a big universe of Valiant.
I honestly, I do think I've read like 2 issues of Ninja K. And I dig it. I like it a lot, actually.
It's really good. It
is really good. I'm not totally sure. Like the world Ninja K exists in, and the way the whole, you know, the whole economy works in there does remind me a lot of John Wick. It does.
Yeah. Basically, it's John Wick with James Bond.
Yeah, but yeah, John Wick and James Bond, basically. Yeah, basically, that's Ninja K. So for me, I feel like Ninja K would be a great movie series to adapt, but at the same time, I'm not sure if it would be successful. Only because people don't really know Ninja K like that. I mean, some people should take a chance. I get it. Like Sony maybe might should have started with Ninja K first.
Yes, yeah.
You know, maybe got Scott Adkins to play Ninja K. I don't know. No, that might be.
But the thing is, Ninja K is British. And that's the only thing that kind of killed it in that little
Jason Statham. Come on now.
But he gonna do superhero movies. You know that. It's technically not a superhero movie.
It's technically not.
I ain't gonna lie. Hobbs and Shaw damn near was a superhero movie.
It was kind of, man. It was kind of, man.
It's just like that's not very far from it. That practically is a superhero film.
So they probably doing over the top stuff as usual, wasn't they?
Oh yeah. Big time.
My thing is they could have started Ninja K and Jason Statham could have played him because Ninja K is British and he has he's a rich kid. He has a long lineage of money, so
where we heard that before.
Exactly. So every other character that has money has family issues.
He's rich, white, family issues. He's a martial artist / ninja. Yeah. Where have we seen this before? Right. Yeah. Anyway, it's still good though. What did you two think of the Bloodshot trailer, Fallen Marvel and Dido?
Honestly, I had just watched it before the show. I had saw clips of it before. To be honest, it really feels just like any other solo Vin Diesel outing movie that's not Fast and Furious. So it just, I mean, it feels like what was that? Like what was it? The Witch Hunter. I think that was the last Witch Hunter. I think it was called, or you know, that's what the feel I have from this, and like it doesn't give me any real incentive to look at it, or you know, Triple X Return of Xander Cage, which no one asked for. Not a bad movie, not an absolutely terrible movie, but again, it's a sequel nobody really asked for. So, and I think honestly, the real selling point for that movie was Donnie Yen being in it, but just other than that, it's not drawing me in. It just looks like maybe like another Riddick type film with him playing in it. Granted, like I think what was it, the third Riddick movie was actually okay. I know they're supposed to be working on the fourth one, but I mean,
I like the Riddick series.
The thing is, Vin Diesel only has so much range, so it's just with this movie, it just feels like another run-of-the-mill Vin Diesel movie. And I mean, I for one will say I'm not that familiar with the Valiant characters, but I've definitely have heard enough of them to kind of know, you know, who they are more or less, you know, just some cliff notes. But it's just looking at this movie, it just looks like the same run-of-the-mill stuff we've seen him do before. And honestly, I'm just saying. I mean, okay, something happens. He gets an upgrade. They try to wipe his memory or whatever. Is like, to be honest, it just feels like Wolverine Origins. So I don't know. Like, it's just that's just how I feel to me.
Well,
wow.
I mean, I can't say I disagree with most of that stuff because it did look just like a Vin Diesel movie. But I like action movies, and I'll go pay $5 to go watch some things explode in the theater because sometimes it's nice.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem that I had with the friggin' trailer is that it showed too much. As I was speaking earlier before, is that they showed that this guy is like he died, they tortured his wife, killed him, they brought him back to life with the nanites. Okay, that's cool and dandy. They should have basically just started showing scenes from that, and that's basically it. But then they went on to show, who's going to be the next target? Let's change his memory. So then they fucking change his memory and saying somebody else tortured his wife and killed him and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so this is how they get this guy to manipulate him. But then it didn't stop there. They didn't stop there in the trailer. They showed the guy, and I forget the character's name, who supposedly is the guy that put this stuff in him, and him having, an argument like, you're not going to be able to control me forever. And he's like, you want to bet or something like that? I'm just like, they didn't have to show that. They could have just literally stopped at the first one. Like, his wife died and he's a super soldier and blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. Action scenes. Go. Trailer. Yeah, it looks good. But then they start telling way too much. That was my issue. Will it stop me from watching the movie? Probably not. I'm tired of seeing that. That's why I'm very picky on my trailers, which I'm gonna watch.
So here's Bloodshot's power set. I wonder if they're gonna put this in the movie. Superhuman strength, speed, agility, stamina, reflexes, and endurance. Healing factor, master of hand-to-hand combat, shape-shifting, cyberkinesis. I don't think they're gonna put that much.
And not all that is gonna make the cut. I mean, because we all know Vin Diesel is not a very nimble person, so the hand-to-hand thing is only gonna go. So I mean, we'll probably we got the super strength, we got the healing factor. Maybe you'll get the what'd you say, cyberkinesis, or whatever. Maybe we'll get that. As far as everything else, man, might be shooting for the moon with that one.
Yeah, he superhuman strength. I don't see him doing that. I don't see him. I think the main thing they're gonna have in there is just the speed and agility, stamina, and healing factor. They're gonna put no shapeshifter in there.
So, all right. Well, you said this is a Sony vehicle, right?
Yeah, this is Sony.
Yep.
All right, so
pictures.
Yeah, so we know Sony just made their deal with Marvel, with Disney and Marvel not too long ago. So they kind of would need and they're kind of desperate for new IPs anyway, right? They need new stuff, but they're in the news again. They're in the news for another reason, actually, and it's not necessarily anything that they did. It's something that this is one of their games that plays on the PlayStation, that they are offering full refunds for people if they are very upset by. It was a video that Fallen Marvel was watching earlier. It was concerning. It was concerning a game called WWE 2K20, and 2K20 is so bad, like so bad that Sony is literally offering full refunds. If you want one so bad, they will give you one. So I'm actually going to play a little bit of it. We're gonna watch it a little bit here, just see how bad this game is, right? So take a look at this. Like, I'm watching this for the very first time. Like, how do these people get paid to make games looking in this bad? Like, what is this? What in the world? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No, that one was real. I've seen somebody do that in real life.
Yo, wait, he's walking on air. What is this?
Didn't the Undertaker do that?
Dude, he's walking in midair. What is? Yo, come on. This is terrible. This is so bad. Hey, he's Han Solo on Carbonite. Carbonite. Oh man! Oh, look at this! This is bro.
That's trash juice.
Like, how the hell did you get that out?
Yo, how do you even put this game out, man?
That is absolutely broken piece of shit. Absolutely.
Yo, this is so bad.
He looks fucked up. What's going on, Chief?
Yeah,
I didn't think your man's
that's
dirty.
not even the worst
He's
of it. Like
stuck in the wall.
That's like,
He's
that's
in the
like when you shoot.
wall. Are you kidding me?
Then it like somebody like in Grand Theft Auto when you shoot them, they just start twitching and shit, and they get stuck in the ground and shit like that. That's what it looked like.
oh yeah, that game was broken. That game was broken day one. That is day one footage.
Like what is this? Is this like a Fall Anywhere match? Like what is this?
Yeah, they added like the little weird like Wyatt family stuff in there too. So they be doing like a lot of goofy shit in it. But it's just the gameplay itself is just so broken and glitchy. It's unfathomable. Just look at it. Look at it. Look how broken it is.
What is Kurt Angle doing?
Oh my God! His head is bending back. Dog. Are you kidding me?
Oh! Look at him.
Like he's almost trying to put his head up his own ass and make it come out again. What is this? Oh my God. Oh my God, this is so bad.
And they had to make Sony take an L by refunding everybody.
Bro, this is so bad. Man, dog, that is so bad. Oh my God.
Yes, sir.
That is, oh dude. No way. I didn't think any game could ever be that bad. Like whoever greenlit that game or let it get even to gold status where they pressed it to release it, they need to be fired. Like that whole department just needs to be fired. Like Ukes, did Ukes develop this game?
Honestly, I think there was some.
Didn't Ukes get fired
in the game? I think that's what it was.
Yeah, Ukes got fired last year. I thought
something like that, or like halfway. It was like either that or like halfway through production, or something like that, and then they had to like rebuild the game from the ground up or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this. And Ukes parted ways with 2K in August.
Okay,
and
so this was
it said, and I'm looking at a GameSpot article where it says working without Ukes was a freeing experience. What?
I'm sure it was.
A freeing.
Ridiculous.
Well, yeah,
dude, that is so
ridiculous.
Bad. Oh my God. Oh my God. I've never seen it. Dude, look, y'all. I call your boy doing you a favor. Like now you don't have to even if you were gonna bother spending money on this, now you know better to not spend on. Like even if they patched that, I would never play that game. I would never play that game ever. I would never play that game. Like. Dog, like
you know what? If you have time, whenever you have time, you have to watch the whole video because it's hilarious.
Man, I'm definitely going to be watching that. I'm definitely I'm definitely gonna be watching that. Oh my goodness, man. Anyway, y'all. So let's get to speaking of horrors, because that game is definitely a horror show. So speaking of horrors, I wanted to talk to you guys about a haunted house that's kind of making the rounds and has been in the news a little bit. We shared it in our Culture Junkies discussion group. But this haunted house it requires you to sign a waiver. Now, most waivers, you sign your name on the dotted line, no big deal. No, it's 40 pages. 40 pages long. You have to get a physical before they'll even let you in. You have to be 21 years old or older, and you have to pass a background check. But the deal is, if it be screened via Facebook or FaceTime or whatever, you have to have proof of medical insurance, pass a drug test. Now, you would think, why would they have such stringent, rules on you even going to the haunted house? Because if you finish their grueling haunted house, they'll pay you $20,000 if you finish it.
It definitely makes me wish I could try it.
Okay, no. Okay, GQ. I'm glad you're here, man. It's good to see you. But did you happen to catch any of that WWE game footage that I was just playing a minute ago?
I've seen the glitches. That game is released almost basically like less than, it wasn't even alpha fate.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like
that wasn't even close to being a beta. That was terrible.
Like, remember back when THQ sent us that alpha of that Batman Beyond game on the N64? Remember how bad that shit was?
That was Titus. Titus did that.
Titus was it Titus? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Dude, that game. This is almost that bad. Like,
yeah, it's trash.
This is such trash. Anyway, so it doesn't say anything about any requirements to get in. You just have to pass all those requirements. There's no money.
Like, they said it's like a donation of dog food or something.
A dog food. That. Like, that's all it'll cost you. Like a bag of dog food.
Where is it at?
It's in Tennessee. It's in Tennessee, Summertown, Tennessee.
But that's about a 8. That's about 10 hour drive.
He's actually thinking about doing it. He's actually thinking about doing it.
You said it's $20,000 prize. So
yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing about haunted houses that have waivers and have a prize for you getting through them. They often are trying to guide you through, like, for example, I've been to one of those haunted houses where, like, you get your money back if you get through it. Usually what it entails is you get through whatever, and then you get to a point where there's a choice between maybe 3 or 4 different doors. And it's just like, okay, so if there's 3 or 4 different doors, it's a roll of the dice. It's not so much that you survived, such a horrific experience. It's just a roll of the dice at the end. So
yeah,
this one literally sounds like they make you sign all these waivers, like, that prevents you from being able to sue them, because I feel like from what I've read, like, in the discussion group, somebody's actually experienced or seen people go through that. They will physically touch you, like they will try and hurt you. They will give you hallucinogens or something like that, and take you through the house. Like, people have gone through this thing and tried to sue the guy afterwards, and because they've signed the waiver, they couldn't do it. Like, that's how bad it is.
Okay, here's the thing. Haunted houses, like, them touching me doesn't really bother me. It's like, just, don't be trying to, like, rape me or nothing. But,
right?
But, like, realistically, like, okay, so if I've signed all these waivers, right, and you touch me, it's like, okay, well, fine. I'm just going to push you away. I'm not going to hurt you, but I'm going to, push you out of my way and get you out of the way. So I don't know. I mean, again, you'd have to go through it and see what you actually, experience. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like they are going to go as far as they possibly can to make sure that you do not get this money, because it's almost like that mega rig thing they used to have back in the video game magazines. It's like,
oh yeah.
Through hoop after hoop upon hoop after hoop, and it's like, God didn't even actually have all that stuff, to give away as a prize. So who knows?
Yeah. For real, man. Like I must have entered that thing every month for at least like a good year and a half before I finally gave up and was like, look at this dude coming on the screen, chewing it with his mouth full and everything. Like, come on, man.
Sorry.
Have some. Damn. Yeah, man. Yeah. So this place has supposedly been featured on a Netflix program called Haunters. The Art of the Scare. I guess it's up on Netflix right now. Dark Tourist episode 8. And everybody that's been through it has always quit halfway. Like, so I'm like, they posted some videos on YouTube. I'm like very interested to actually see what they went through. I'm almost half inclined to put one up and kind of show it, but I'm not gonna do that. But so would you guys, if knowing that you might face torture, we already know GQ said he'd probably do it. Would you do it, Fallen Marvel or Dido? Would you do it for $20,000?
Yeah, for $20,000. I'd like to see what it's all about because, like GQ says, in the waivers, I'd have to definitely read it. But if I'm not coming out getting hurt and psychologically, I'm just like, I don't believe in ghosts and all that other stuff because if ghosts truly existed, why are the ones only around to hurt us? Where's my ghost that's going to tell me the freaking lottery numbers the next year? And because there's only ghosts that are around to hurt you, screw that noise. It doesn't make sense to me. So like definitely would like to see what it entails to do something like that because I really want to know. I'm curious.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm reading it real quick. I'm reading it real quick on their website, or at least a part of. I'm sorry, it's an article about it. But they're saying the actors in the house can physically touch you. This can be an aggressive experience, and our actors will come in contact with you. You cannot in any way return the contact. Hypnotism also plays a big part in the process, and the experience can take up to 10 hours. So. I think what it is like, and like Dido said, it's going to be like a psychological test. It's going to be almost like an endurance test, really. Because for me, it's like, okay, every ghost hunter show I've ever watched has been the same BS. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, it's cold in here.
What's that noise?
Oh, it's like, dude. It's like, first of all, you're in a place that's quiet, so everything is amplified. Is in your mind is amplified. Second, if it's cold, put a damn jacket on. Right? It's like you are not going to hype me up into thinking that like it's like when they like, for example, there's one actually out here. It's an asylum tour that NPR is doing some type of event coming up actually pretty soon. And it's like you go through one of the old asylums out here. It's like, for me, that's not scary.
No,
it's an old big
building.
Hospital. Yes, people were crazy here. Yes, people probably died here. People were probably went through electric shock torture. I call it torture. I don't care if they want to call it therapy or whatever. But it's like, okay, so it happened. It ain't happening to me.
Right.
And it's like I'm walking through. So I stuff like that. I would try it just for the fun of, okay, you might win $20,000, 10 hours, whatever. I work like video production, so we do 14 hours a day, sometimes and longer. So that ain't nothing about the endurance part of it. The physicality, it is what it is. I mean, hey. But I don't know. I would definitely like, okay, for example, it's probably going to be too late to get after it this year. But if they bring it around next year, I'll go. Okay. I'll say that right now. I'll go. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, $20,000. I mean, why not? I mean, really, what's it hurt? What does it hurt? Literally, what does it hurt?
Whole bunch of video games right there.
And
some movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Fallen Marvel, I haven't heard from you. Would you do it?
I would, but the way my anxiety is set up, I don't think.
Man. I don't think. Yeah, no, man. Yeah,
so
I don't think you do it.
That's not gonna work for me because one or two things are gonna happen. I'm either gonna panic or I'm gonna end up assaulting somebody. So it's
right. Hey,
yeah, I'm straight.
For real. You know what? Tony Young is absolutely right. He was like, they must drug you or something. Complimentary water bottles at the beginning of the ride. Man, I wouldn't take nothing from them dudes. I don't want to take none of your water bottle. I don't want your snacks. I don't want nothing. They probably pump gas in the room to make you hallucinate. That's probably what it is. Mm-hmm. They probably do something like that.
See, I ain't about that life. I'm straight.
Right. Man.
I mean, the thing is, like, realistically, like Dido said, read the waiver, see what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel up to the task, like, by all means, go ahead or whatever. I just know I ain't doing the shit.
They supposedly show you like 2 hours of other people's attempts as well. Because my thing is, if I know what I'm getting into, that can help mentally prepare me for a lot of stuff. So
that's what that's probably what they count on. Honestly, that's probably what they count on. You being mentally prepared, and then they hit you with the gassed up room, and then leave you alone in there.
But the thing is, like, seeing 2 hours of other people, what they going through. Like, okay, for example, the whole thing with what is that ride? The slingshot. I'll be watching people on that slingshot passing out.
I love those movies. I love those shows.
And it's just like, for me, it was like, but when I wrote it, I was like, dude, this is just fun. It has nothing to do with like passing out and anxiety. It's like, okay, I know it's gonna come at some point. They're not gonna count you down. At some point, you're gonna fly up in the air and twirl and
yo, man. Stop. Bruh, if you don't close your damn mouth chewing that ice, whatever you chewing,
I'll put my fucking.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
No. I set my phone on top of my button. And I hit the goddamn button to unmute my mic.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm fucking
all right.
on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Sure. Okay. Shut the hell up. Right. Anyway, no, I love those Orlando slingshot videos. Especially the tough dudes that be like, "Oh man, you ain't gonna get me. You gonna get." They be the first dudes to pass out or screaming like little bitches.
But so to me, that's weak. That's just weak anyway, because it's like it's not that bad.
No, it's not.
It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, so people that be getting all screamy and stuff like this, like, okay, whatever. Y'all just can't handle anything,
right? Anything. Like,
so I think it would be fun. And again, if you're gonna show me a bunch of videos of people going through it, okay, cool. So that's them.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. All right, so that was the Halloween topic of the day. We're gonna move on to kind of the main topic of the day, and that is the rise of Lord Kevin Feige, the new Lord and Master of Marvel Creative. He was named the Chief Creative Officer of Marvel Entertainment, period. That's not Marvel Studios, that's Marvel, period. So he's the Chief Creative Officer of Marvel Comics, Marvel TV, and Marvel Studios. So what does this mean for Marvel General? Joe Quesada, who was the previous Chief Creative Officer, has also been moved into another position with Marvel. Unfortunately, Ike Perlmutter is still there, but I feel like this move nullifies his influence by quite a bit. So what do we think this big promotion means for Marvel in general?
Well, I think creative-wise, Feige has shown his track record as far as organizing creative properties on the film side. So with him being able to take him and his team being able to take the helm over the TV and comic side, I don't see anything could go wrong with it. Like it's definitely not going to get any from folks that think it's going to get worse or anything like that. Like it can't get any worse than anything that's already been going on. Like he's proven capable of managing creative narratives when it comes to these properties. So I know I've seen a lot of feedback when folks said they're afraid he's going to mess with the comics and turn them too much like the MCU because for whatever they're going to have their opinions about what they think the MCU is or whatever. So, but what they forget is, okay, the MCU as far as how it was orchestrated, it wouldn't be what it was without the comics. And Feige is a person who completely understands how the comics work. He knows what worked in the comic book. He knows what worked on the film. So it's like, I don't see him meddling with that. If it works, it works. If he feels that it might not, he'll try to rework something. But like, I don't see him like interfering with something that's already doing well, like i.e. the current X-Men stories right now. So I don't see him messing with that. But at the same time, it's probably a good idea that Ike Perlmutter doesn't have that creative say. Like he only has say when it comes to like sales, marketing, and licensing. That's his department. He has no more creative say now. And to be honest, that's a step up regardless. Like regardless of how you feel about Feige as a creative head, that's a step up that Ike Perlmutter doesn't have any creative say over anything. So honestly, I don't see any issue with him being being promoted to that position. Can only get better. And plus with him seeing over television, it's like, hey, there's a good chance we might see the Netflix characters or whatever actually be brought over to the floor. There's a good chance, not saying it will, but it's a good chance because everybody's trying, everybody's like getting behind Charlie Cox to return as Matt Murdock. So
yeah,
would be, so
that would be very nice. Now, what you said about people fearing his influence on the comic book world, and him injecting what they term as SJW slanted creativity. That tells you right there that those dudes don't pay attention to the comics anyway, because a lot of that stuff it has been there since before Feige was even doing the movies, and it certainly is now. And Feige wasn't even in charge, so I don't understand. I just don't understand, dudes that roll like that. So
and that's another thing I just want to allude to is just the fact that at the very least, regardless of whether they do think that would sell comic books or whatever the case may be, at least they have somebody in charge that has, he has his finger on the pulse of what people like. For the most part, like he's in touch with people. So to have somebody like in that position that's in touch with the populace, that's always a good thing. And Kevin has shown that he is in touch with, he's in touch with the fandom. He is. Like, folks can say whatever they want, but the man's in touch with the fandom. He knows what works.
Man, plus that Ike dude old as hell. I saw a picture of him. He don't know what the hell he doing.
You talking about that Ike ass clown that fucked
that
up?
Dude, old as fuck.
Fucked up the.
I said, "This is y'all dude who running the TV station."
Yeah, he don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Ass Murder She Wrote.
Wow! Old ass Murder She Wrote. Wow.
She Wrote. Matlock ass Columbo watching ass.
That shit out there.
It's the reason why freaking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't keep up its stuff with the movies. The reason why Daredevil and the rest of them were so separate. He's that asshole that did Ike Perlmutter, and he was the friggin' reason why we almost didn't get Captain Marvel and Black Panther because of his ass.
Man, get him out of here. Yeah, get him out of here. I saw the pictures today. I said, "This is your chairman? You got this fool over here fucking up the whole."
All right, so. We know about the comic side. There is another hat that is dropped because of the ascension of Kevin Feige, and that is Jeff Loeb is announced to be leaving Marvel. Jeff Loeb, who was over Marvel Television before now, he who already had a grudge with him anyway because as soon as he took the reins of Marvel Television, the first thing he did, he canceled Spectacular Spider-Man, which at the time was the best, and I mean the best Spider-Man cartoon I had seen up to that moment. Still is considered to me the best. And I think Jeff Loeb also killed Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which at the time was the best Marvel cartoon period that we had ever seen. because Disney now was taking the reins. So they wanted to bring everything. He made the decision to basically bring everything in-house when he could have, if he wanted to, or if he was allowed to. I have no idea if it was, totally his decision or not, but he could have figured out a way to keep, Earth's Mightiest Heroes and the Spectacular Spider-Man going if he really wanted to. But I digress. That's neither here nor there.
That is quite a shame, because both of those shows were like Spectacular Spider-Man in its own right definitely was good, and Avengers of Earth's Mightiest Heroes I think is probably underrated as a show.
Very underrated.
So
like people don't understand how good that show was. Like we're talking, you wanted stuff pulled right from the comic books and put into the show. They definitely did that. Like that episode, that one episode, it was just one episode. The one episode they had with the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom was legendary. That episode was incredible. The way they did Doom, the way they did Fantastic, it was all good. It was all so good. I wanted more. Anyway, I digress. What do we think this is going to mean for Marvel Television moving forward? Let's hear from GQ with Jeff Loeb now being pushed out of the way.
I mean, well, if you got Feige at the top of everything, and then Disney, writing checks, and they got their you got your Disney Plus thing. It's going to be insanely well connected. I think that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most. I think, like Dido has always been saying, he wanted the Netflix stuff to be tied into the MCU. Well, now that it's all under the same roof, I think you're going to start really seeing that for real now. And especially with Feige, sitting at the helm, I think that's really going to give them opportunities to, pull in various characters and throw them into, some of the Disney Plus stuff. Or, if I don't know if they're going to still put anything on ABC, they might not. But I think you're going to get a lot more interactivity, because especially now that you've already done the Infinity War narrative, and Iron Man is dead and Cap is old, and so it's just like, okay, you've handled you basically laid the foundation, and you handled the heavy lifting stuff. Now you can get into all of that interconnected comic book faithful stuff that might not at the time have driven a full theatrical release, but you put it on a small screen and work them characters in, and then do some type of team up with some of the bigger name characters. Yeah, that could be really interesting. So in all honesty, there's nowhere to go but up. And hi, Sharita, I see you saying what's up in the chat there. So yeah, I mean, they have nowhere to go but up on this one, because again, they've got probably one of the better, more comic book knowledgeable people in charge of running everything now. So
and he grew up as a fan of all things Marvel. Like, he was a super fan of Spider-Man. He was a big fan of the X-Men, growing up. I don't see, too much really being affected as far as like the comics wise. I think he'll probably, leave a lot of that stuff in place. Marvel, I think comics wise, editorially, I think they could use a little bit of tightening up. Anyway, some of their stories are kind of on the weak side, especially when compared to what DC's been doing as of late, the past couple of years. I think DC's been killing them in the comics arena. But as far as like the television it goes, like when you compare Marvel TV and DC TV, like and I'm not even talking about the crisis that's getting ready to happen, in this fall. Like even if we just look at the Flash and the Flash being successful, the Arrowverse basically in general being successful as long as it has been, Marvel's their success on TV has been very limited in regards to. Inhumans was a colossal failure. Iron Fist was fairly much a colossal failure. Daredevil was really good. Punisher was good. Luke Cage was kind of lukewarm in reception. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been, I think, tremendously underrated. But like Dido even said, like when they kind of devalued the connection to the movie universe, the show kind of suffered. I mean, the show's quality still maintained, but it lost any kind of special, I guess, feeling, because they weren't doing like like Lady Sif crossed over in Agents of Shield like twice. We saw Nick Fury appear in the show twice, but that was only in the first season. But still, people kind of wanted to see some more of that stuff. They didn't have to be super overt, but I think they could have done a lot more than Perlmutter was allowing them to do. And now with Feige having the reins, I'm looking forward very much more to that interconnectivity with everything. And I wonder if Jeff Loeb, I wonder if the final straw for him was when Disney, and I know they say Hulu's the one that did it, but he was overseeing the whole Ghost Rider project and the stuff that was going to be on Hulu. That was his baby, and the Ghost Rider that appeared on Agents of Shield, that was him. So when they canceled that and was like, no, Feige wants him and wants him to come over and maybe do something really special with him. He probably saw the writing on the wall and was like, you know what, I'm gonna get out of here because I already see what's about to happen. So,
yeah, I mean, we could see. I mean, there's been like some talks that they might be bringing Ghost Rider back into the movie fold. So,
right,
that could be a thing. So,
and I don't see Ghost Rider as a movie property. Maybe I'm crazy.
It can. It's just that anytime we think of a live action movie Ghost Rider, we keep thinking Nick Cage. And it's just kind of like, okay, maybe if we moved away, because I'm like, if Constantine as a film worked and it's, whatever, I honestly really feel like in the long run it could work. Like, I feel like in the long run it could work because, I mean, it really does look like going toward, what was it, phase 5? We'll see Blade. And then, of course, we got the second Doctor Strange movie, which is supposed to, like, bring more of that extra supernatural horror feel to it. That'd be a good time to start bringing, like, more, like, the darker characters in. So, like, that would be, like, a really good time for them to do that. Because, I mean, Ghost Rider's appearance more or less coincided to when they were doing Doctor Strange, and in the first place. So
another blemish on Jeff Loeb's record. I'm reading this report initially filed by Comic Book Movie, but the report is that because Loeb was overseeing all of Marvel TV, so he was in charge of putting showrunners in place to produce shows. So he got the guy that did Iron Fist and shuffled him over, let him do the Inhumans. Do you know that Feige spent $100,000 attempting to fix Medusa's wig? $100,000. And
I could easily believe that because he's the person that got Wolverine's hair to look like it, suggested they make Wolverine's hair look the way it did in the first X-Men movie. So he pays attention.
Not Feige. I'm talking Loeb. Loeb was like spent like $100,000 on Medusa's wig, and it still ended up looking terrible.
Well, yeah. Nobody wanted Inhumans to begin with, though.
I mean, they didn't want. I don't think they wanted that. I don't think they wanted that. They got.
There's some truth in that, GQ. I think people still wanted it to be good, but there's some truth to it when it kept sort of getting pushed back, and folks really didn't know what to make of it, and then they pretty much downgraded it to TV series. But at the same time, you kind of had somebody that was more or less didn't know what the hell he was doing. So, like running the show. So that didn't help either.
There's just certain things that just like.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. Trying to get the screen to come back up. Let me get it to come back up. Hold on a second. Just hang with me, guys. I'll get it to come back in 1 second. Sorry about that, but no. Tell me you guys' thoughts on Jeff Loeb being kind of ousted in the thoughts. Oh, here we go. All right, I got the guys back. All right, here we go. Sorry, y'all.
So I'm already
it kind of messed up. I had to basically restart my video feed because it was like crapping out as a black screen. So we kind of missed what you guys were talking about there for a second. But we're still live. We're still live.
Trying to censor people.
I try to censor people. I would never do that to my friends. They, yeah, I mean it's like, you know, but no, Loeb wasted $100,000 and basically trotted that trash out. To this day, I still haven't seen Inhumans.
To this day,
I still haven't seen that thing. And I was a big Inhumans fan. Like like Johnny P's over on YouTube is saying like Inhumans could have been like Guardians of the Galaxy if they'd done it right and kept it as a movie, which I think some people were really excited for. Some people really wanted to see the Inhumans be a movie. I think it would have worked better as a movie, maybe, but we'll never know. I mean,
yeah, probably
because they're definitely
infighting, stupid ass infighting.
Yeah, they're definitely taking a break from Inhumans for a minute. Like I think they said that they were going to come back to it eventually. More than likely, they'll probably wait until like some Fantastic Four stuff drops. So, but yeah, it's just a shame that they weren't able to get it off.
And they're gonna casually let people kind of just forget all about that trash Inhumans. Like because Inhumans is on the slate for one of the shows that's launching with Disney Plus. I wonder if they'll just silently just remove Inhumans off of there and just kind of let people forget all about it and then say, hey, we got a brand new Inhumans show. How about this? It's like, wasn't there? No. Do a little Jedi mind trick. It was like, oh, no. There was no Inhuman show before this. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, there was no Inhuman show.
I mean, they could probably work it like a little bit more smoother than Fox did with X-Men Origins Wolverine. So, because they had to do the same with that after it came out. It's like, folks still talking about it? No, okay, let's move this along. We'll just,
I'm gonna bring something back up that we talked about a little bit earlier. GQ missed this part because we were talking about Star Wars. And I'm likening it now to what we were talking about with Marvel previously before, with a lot of people kind of, up in arms or kind of uncertain about the direction of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Phase 4. A lot of them view the slate as pretty weak. The same could be said for Star Wars after Episode 9 comes out. So I wanted to know what GQ thought. Are you a little anxious or nervous about the direction of Star Wars after Episode 9 and The Mandalorian comes out?
No. The main reason being, and I think I heard Dido say this actually on the way home. He was saying it's not my story to tell; it's my story to enjoy. And realistically, that's what all of this stuff really is. Yeah, you can have your opinions about it and things that you would have liked to seen done differently. But at the end of the day, you can't change that unless you go out, buy the rights and do your own version. Star Wars has been fine for me. If people really paid attention to the Last Jedi trailers, Luke clearly says in there, this is not going to go the way you think. Mm-hmm. So like all those people were up in arms and mad and Luke threw the lightsaber away and this and that. It's like, okay, so, and it's like the dude was done with all that, as far as he was.
It's not my Luke.
Right. You know what makes me laugh the most is seeing dudes on they portrayed 40 years of storytelling and story arcs with this one film. I'm like, really, man? Did they really? Or did it just not go the way that you thought it was going to go?
Right. It's like people hype up stuff so much in their minds as to what they think is going to happen. Oh, they're going to let us know who Rey's parents are. They're going to let us know who Snoke is. They didn't promise none of that.
Luke's going to be this badass old Jedi,
Right. It's like they didn't say they was going to do any of that. They telling the story that they telling. So now, granted, Solo was a little bit lackluster, but I mean, again, it was. Solo was one of those movies. No, the movie itself was okay. It's just realistically though, it was kind of lackluster because it's like you didn't have to show me the Kessel Run because now you've taken the mystique out of it. You know, just like for all this time, all our entire lives, the Millennium Falcon did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. It's just like, okay, whatever that means, it must be awesome because he keeps bragging about it, and you know, that's his claim to fame. But now that you showed me like how it was done, it was just like, that was a
like
mistake.
Even when he did it, like even when Han said it in The Force Awakens, when he was like, Ray was like, no, when Finn was like, I heard you did the Kessel Run in 12.
Well, Ray said it was 14.
Yeah, I thought it was Ray.
He had to correct her. But I mean, and again, it was fine, but it was just like, I didn't necessarily. Now, again, Rogue One to me was a much better side story.
Yeah,
agreed. It fit into something that was interesting. It's like, well, damn, how did they get them plans?
Right.
Okay, sweet.
Right.
All right, cool. You know, that was cool. But like, it's like, okay, Solo's entire movie, to me, it didn't like. Harrison Ford played him with such like gravitas, such grace, such just coolness. This kid was never going to live up to that, and that's not his fault. That's just the reality of it. And it's just like when you get to the end of that movie, you didn't feel like you were still seeing the Han Solo that we all grew up with. It was just like, okay, this dude learned a lesson, and he did the Kessel Run by accident, and he got the Millennium Falcon. It's like, whatever. But and again, all that is to say, it is what it is. This is Star Wars for this current generation.
Right.
Like we were lucky enough to, you know, some of us were lucky enough to have been alive through all of it. So it's just like.
But when you say it like that, does that mean that we can't enjoy what's coming up or moving forward? Do we need to put it down?
The thing is, I look at it as you can enjoy it, but don't try to make it what you grew up with, because that's where you're going to run into problems. It's just like the same thing that with like music, for example, with like people, you know, or matter of fact, Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola are classic examples of this. They are filmmakers that did a particular genre of film really well for all these years, but damn it, y'all did that 40 years ago in some instances. Like The Godfather is an old ass movie. Apocalypse Now, old ass movie. Yes, they're classics by a lot of standards, but they're old. Just straight up, they're old. Most people that are coming up now, they've heard of them. A lot of kids probably ain't even seen those movies yet. So
I don't think a lot of kids would even see those movies.
Right.
You know?
So it's like you guys did a particular genre that works, but guess what? Comic book genre is hot right now. And the worst part is they're complaining about, like, if you really break it down and you cut Joker out of the count, because Joker technically wasn't really a comic book movie. Whatever,
right.
It had the name of a comic book character, but it sure as hell wasn't a comic book movie. But I'll still throw it in there. There was only about 7 comic book movies this year out of, I don't know how many movies were released this year, but it sure as hell was a lot more than 7. So it's like, how are y'all acting like there's so many movies and it's taking over? It's like, no, they're just good and they make a hell of a lot of money. Period. Right. That's what the whole name of the game is. Yes, it's art, but it's like to sit there and for them to try to act like those movies don't have weight, though, you know, they're not genre films. You know, it's just like, it's like, dude, you guys are disconnected, and it's like, okay, that means that the medium has moved beyond you. Period. Right. Because you know, we've gone through this with westerns, we've gone through this with gangster movies. It's like people have always pushed back against whatever is hot at the moment. It's like, dude, just get out of the way. It's gonna roll right over you because you don't really matter. And it's just like, for them to sit there and be like, oh, these movies are despicable. It's like, okay, have fun sitting, you know, counting your money from whatever you made back in the day, and that's fine. But you really don't get it. And I think that's where, you know, they don't for whatever goofy reason, they don't seem to understand that. And it's just like, Coppola, your nephew starred in 2 comic book movies and wanted to be Superman. So it's like apparently he has 0 problems with comic book movies. So that's on you, man. You know, be old. So whatever. But yeah, Star Wars is going to constantly survive. I always laugh when people are like, Disney's killing Star Wars. No, Disney's giving you a lot more Star Wars than you've had over the drip, you know, releases of Star Wars movies in the past. Yes, they're doing a lot in a short period of time, but damn it, it's like at least they're doing something with it instead of sitting on it. Because if they just sat on it, like I'm very excited about The Mandalorian. I'm very excited about hell, like I said, probably before the end of this year, I'm going to go to the Galaxy's Edge. Like there's just regardless of what changes, as long as I get a red lightsaber fighting against a blue or green lightsaber, I'm good. That's all I really need out of Star Wars. So, keep on pushing.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, just like you said.
Right. Yeah, no, I think Q's in the chat was like, yeah, Star Wars will be forever. I mean, it'll literally be as long as they really want to keep telling the stories. Like there's literally no end to it. Now, will it be, the same Star Wars that you remember or that you know of? I mean, more than likely not, but I mean, that's okay. That's perfectly okay. That if it's not the Star Wars that you grew up with, and it's the same thing with a lot of people that get angry about a lot of women getting, their own superhero movies or their, or leading roles and stuff like that. Everything ain't got to be for you. It's like, fans are selfish like that. They think everything that comes out has to be made with them in mind, or because or it has to be made with their sensibilities in mind. Yeah. It's okay to say that, hey, this movie isn't for me, I'm not gonna go see it. Or hey, Captain Marvel wasn't made with me in mind as a guy, but my daughter loves it. Hey, great, she needs someone to look up to, like I did with Superman and Spider-Man as growing up. She needs someone like that. Okay, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's kind of the approach that you kind of have to take with a lot of these things. Like, stop having such personal ownership or thinking that everything needs to be in your orbit or has to be about you. I mean, hell, how many years did I not see The Fifth Element until I actually finally saw it? I mean, it was at the time I just said, hey, I'll get to it when I get to it. And after I saw it, hey, I thought it was great.
Same deal. You saw it this year, so yeah, it's about over 20 years.
Yeah, it's been about 20 years. Okay, it's been about 20 years. I was late to the party on that. So what? Not a big deal.
Okay, hold on. Those two things don't have anything to do with each other.
Sure they do. I mean, that was
yeah,
they do.
Late. That was you being late on seeing a good movie. That ain't got nothing to do with fandom.
Well, everybody was talking about it, and all my good friends were saying, "Oh man, you got to see Fifth Element. Fifth Element was such a fantastic movie. You got to see it." It's like, oh yeah, I'll see it. Whatever, I'll see it when I get to it, man.
So again, that's on you. That has nothing to do with any level of fandom. That's not you. That's not you like wanting the movie to be done a particular way. That's just you missing out on one of the great movies of our time. That's on you.
Okay. All right.
Trying to move them uprights in them goalposts, man.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I'm totally doing that. You're absolutely right. Anyway, guys, we had a fantastic show. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed talking with you. Once again, this Saturday, we're going to be having our game night at our headquarters here in Michigan. If you're in the area, we would love to see you come join out. It's going to be $5 to get in. There will be food. There will be drinks. And if you bring alcohol, we probably might have to bounce you, but or maybe you can bribe us with a little sip of the good stuff.
All that.
Dido said that.
Nah, it wasn't no ban on alcohol.
That's what he said. That's not water. It's alcohol.
Heck yeah. No, even if you're not in the area, you better start driving right now. Get your butt over here on Saturday.
Okay, I like
play
that.
some games.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun.
Tony Young said Man of Steel was trash.
It is not trash. Get out of here with that. It is not trash. It was a good movie. Zack Snyder was trash. Man of Steel was not trash. Anyway, hey, anybody watch Watchmen this past weekend? I heard it's been getting a lot of spicy controversy all about it. Anybody watch it this weekend?
I don't even know.
I didn't catch it, but the buzz is quite interesting.
I
Nah, I'm not really feeling it.
Yeah, I
So
didn't
Sharita and her boy Jose are coming. She was like, "Don't kick me and Jose out." She must be getting ready to come with the libations then.
I mean, that's fine. Again, I personally don't have no problem with people. If you drink, you drink. Just don't get nothing on my system.
Right?
If you spill something on my system, then we're gonna have an issue. But
We're gonna have issues,
right? Just drink responsibly. Get out the parking lot without running into my car, and we good.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Q said he liked Watchmen, so
okay. Q's a likable guy. He likes a lot of stuff, but that's not to say that it isn't good. I'm sure it is good.
Throw him under the bus and whatnot.
No, I'm sure it is really, really, really good. A lot of people are making a lot about kind of like the first scene that they showed in the movie or in the show, but it's got the certain subsect of fandom all a tizzy, so shall we say? But they're always looking for a way to be outraged. This is just another reason. This is another way. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
All grown up and with your big boy pants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, y'all, we hope you had a really great time. Show note, next week we're probably gonna have to push the start time of the show back later. I got some important stuff to do, but I definitely don't want to miss our Halloween broadcast. So you want to make sure that you're following us here on Facebook or on Twitter. We'll give you updates about when the show is going to go live, because we're going to have a special bracket tournament about the best Hollywood candy out there.
Really?
I mean,
Halloween
candy. Okay.
Where's your mind?
I fail. I'm sorry.
Candy Hollywood.
I'm sorry.
I don't think we run in circles, man.
Oh man, you right about that. Anyway, here's the link to the event in the chat right now. Click on the link if you haven't been there yet. Tell us that you're coming. Leave us a note. We'd love to see you. So for my friends Fallen Marvel, GQ, and Super Nerd Plus, and Daidakuji, I'm Kashira. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.